Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to my course of introduction to principles of economics. And then details are shown in syllabus, which is posted in our e-class. I believe each and every one of you are able to access our e-class. Then we are going to use for the details of our class schedule. I refer you to the syllabus posted in our e-class, and then we are going to use this textbook written by world famous Gregory Mankiw, who incidentally teaches at Harvard University Economics Department. And then this book contains 36 chapters. It's impossible to cover all the 36 chapters in a single semester, but don't be disappointed. We are going to cover key chapters of this book. Then after that, you will be comfortable understanding basic principles of economics. Now, ready to go? Okay. As I say here, course description and class schedules are posted in e-class, and then we are going to go forward strictly according to the syllabus. Okay. Then today is the last day. We have this ugly screen in front of you. Then next time on, more specifically, this coming Wednesday on, we are not going to have this screen. In each place, I want you to print out a copy of class note from e-class and then bring it to the class so that we may not have this screen. Then you will, this is because this is a course for basic understanding of the economic principles. So mostly we rely on my unilateral lecture, straightforward lecture to you, and plus some class discussions. We are not going to have any individual presentations or group reports, anything like that. Bring it differently. Your basic job is to understand theories in this textbook. So you focus on my lecture. You focus on my lecture and plus reading the textbook. My exams are always open book exams, so you will have 3 open-ended questions plus 3 very simple calculation questions. Don't be afraid of calculations. It's going to be very, very simple calculation questions. So we have open access to everything in each exam. So putting it differently, you don't need to memorize anything. I believe each and every one of you hate memorizing anything, so you don't need to do that. Okay, so now our discussions. Now we begin our discussions. My opening question is that what percentage of your life is about economy? It may depend, but roughly saying, I think especially in modern days, most probably 60–70% of your personal life will be about economy. Means understanding of economic principles is very critical to your practical life. So economics is so much important. Okay, and let's skip these and directly get back into chapter 1 of this book. Gregory Mankiw is very unique in this regard. Namely, he starts off with this much thick textbook with 10 building blocks, which he calls principles of economics. He has 10 of them at the very beginning of his book. In this chapter, 10 economic principles or principles of economics. Let's discuss one by one. Before that, economy may mean two different things. Number one, it may mean a state of economy. Here, economy means the most efficient allocation of resources. The second meaning of economy, especially macroeconomy or national economy, means economy of a single nation, like Korean economy or US economy, Mongolian economy, likewise. Here, economics is all about, here one more time, economics is all about efficient allocation of resources. Then, to understand this, we have to know what a resource is in the first place. So, this is the definition of resource. In the Korean language, 자원. To be called a resource, it needs two characteristics. Number one, resource as opposed to nuisance. Resource is something that is useful. Nuisance, something is not necessary. It's not a useful thing. For example, music is a resource, but noise is a nuisance. You understand that? Something useful we call resource. And it should be something that is scarce. Something useful but not scarce, you don't call a resource. Take these three things, for example. Is water a resource? Is it useful? Of course, it is useful. Is it scarce? In the past, it wasn't so scarce, but these days, water is scarce too. So, in the past, water was not a resource, but now it is a resource. Is the air resource? Is it useful? Extremely useful. Okay, but is it scarce? No, not quite. So, the air is extremely useful because nobody can survive without air even several minutes. So, it is indispensable for any living thing, but it is abundant, so it's not a resource. Thirdly, is diamond a resource? Yes or no? It depends. To me, it's not a resource. It's useless to me. Diamond is useless to me, even if it is extremely scarce. To most of you, it is useful. It is scarce. So, in general, diamond is treated as a resource. Then, economics is all about this one. This is Mankiw's definition of economics. Now, let's take Mankiw's principles here. So, one more time, he starts off with 10 keystones or axioms. Then, reading these Mankiw's 10 principles, I am reminded of 5 axioms of Euclidean geometry. Is anyone familiar with Euclidean geometry? Probably none of you are familiar with this thing. But anyway, just for your reference, the whole discipline of geometry, Euclidean geometry, is based upon 5 axioms. Very true, but axiom means something which is very true and very apparent, very obvious, but you cannot prove it. That's what we call axioms. But anyway, my message is that the whole discipline of Euclidean geometry is built on 5 axioms. Likewise, Mankiw tries to explain all the economic theories on the basis of 10 principles he lists here. Then, according to Mankiw, even if you don't understand, okay, something is here. Don't worry, because you will understand the 10 principles pretty soon, or sooner than later. Then he goes even as far as saying this is a preview of coming attractions. By this, he implies economic theories are attractions. believe it or not, but you will believe that economic theories are all attractions. Then let's jump into 10 principles. Then for a starter, he classifies 10 principles into 3 subcategories. Number 1, decision-making principle. Mankiy's principle number 1, in economics, people face trade-offs. In general, you cannot both do good things at the same time. The popular Western expression is that you cannot have your cake and eat it too. If you eat your cake, you cannot have the cake. But if you want to have preserve the cake, you cannot eat it. So this is, you cannot have having the cake and eating the cake. You cannot have both, either one. Or another Western expression is that there is no such a thing as a free lunch. To have something good, you have to pay something else. Or simply put, no pain, no gain. To have a gain, you have to incur some pain. So this is principle number 1. Don't forget this one. Nothing comes for free. Nothing, including your parental love. Okay? If you don't behave yourself, your mom wouldn't love you. So behaving yourself, is it enjoyable or painful? Most of you would think it's somewhat painful. So without behaving, that's what you pay. Behaving yourself, your pain, your gain is your mom's love. Then you have to have a good thing. You have to pay something, all-inclusive term, most comprehensive term or generic term is called cost. To have a good thing, you have to pay cost. Then in economics, definition of a cost is what all that you give up to get a thing. A thing means, of course, is gain. So all that you give up to have a gain, simply you may call it pain or cost. So in economics, from now on, we call all that you pay to get a good thing, we call cost. Then economics, as far as economics, 경제학 is concerned, all through the economic textbooks, when you say cost, it means all-inclusive opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is probably, this is my proposition, one of the 5 most important concepts in all economics probably is opportunity cost. Okay. Then to elaborate on opportunity cost, of course, opportunity cost in the Korean language is 기회비용. So all that you give up to have a good thing, of course. Then from another perspective, to have a good thing, okay, then putting it differently, you have many alternatives to choose from. Then of all the alternatives, you can choose only one. In that case, what's the opportunity cost of choosing the thing? Here is that when there are multiple alternatives, is the value of the best choice is best alternative is opportunity cost. Okay. Or in other words, you can define the opportunity cost of a thing unilaterally, unique, not just an arbitrary number. For example, you have 10 candidates for your marriage. By definition or by human practice, common practice, you can get married to only one person. So assuming you have 10 people to choose from, then you can choose only one. Then alternative of the opportunity cost of choosing the person is the not arbitrary number, the value of the best alternative to whom you cannot get married. Okay, understandable. So we have 10 candidates. You choose this. Then opportunity cost is not arbitrary number. Of the 9, the best value is your opportunity cost. Don't forget that. Then another thing is that this one, incremental value only, this one. So calculating opportunity cost, you have to take both explicit and implicit cost into account. People rarely forget about explicit cost. Explicit cost sometimes we call out-of-pocket expense, but implicit cost is implicit. It's not easily visible. So because of this less visibility, people tend to forget about the implicit cost. But you should pay a keen attention to implicit cost as well. And the incremental cost, so this is only increment cost is relevant to the opportunity cost. Take your cost of being here in this classroom, for example. Okay. So what is your opportunity cost of being in this classroom? First of all, you may think of tuitions and traffic fares. You are right. So to be here, you have to pay tuitions or the traffic fares to come to here. But don't forget to take other opportunity cost being into account. For example, probably the single largest opportunity cost of your being here is to be here. You cannot earn any money working somewhere. For example, the Mr. Pizza across the street. Then, if you can earn, let's say, 10,000 won an hour, you have to be here 2 hours today, right? To be here for 2 hours, you have to sacrifice 20,000 won, which you can get from working over there. So that's implicit cost. Don't forget to take that into account. And then this one, incremental cost only. Whether to come here or to work over there, you have to pay for your meals. So it's common to both cases. So you don't take the expense for your breakfast or lunch into account. Okay, is that clear to you? Okay, now this is a very interesting case. Suppose you are very high income earner. You make big money working somewhere. Let's say your hourly income is 1 million won. Then working 8 hours a day, you can earn 8 million won a day. Then that's only limited to weekdays, right? What is your opportunity cost of helping your mom over the weekend? Then in that case, what is your alternative of helping your mom out? Doing nothing. So in that case, even if your hourly income on weekdays is 1 million won, weekend opportunity cost of you are helping your mom is 0. So you have to help your mom on weekend if she asks you for that. Mankew's principle number 3 is this one. Rational people think at the margin. Here, you should be clear about what the margin is in the first place. Margin means the edge, the frontier. So at the margin of what margin? Margin of your thinking, your thought, or your decision making. So why is the margin so critical? Because in general, our decision is 1 by one, or one after another, or step by step. So you make a decision about a thing at one unit, then you move on to second decision and the third decision, things like that. So because of that, one more time, in general, your decision making in the real life is step by step. One step, two steps, second step, third step, like that. Taking one step, only after taking one step, you can take second step. Then after taking second step, you take third step. So one by one. Then if you consider whether to take the fourth step, for example, the first step is the margin, at the margin of your decision. So your decision is that whether to take fourth step right now. And if you take have taken the fourth step, then the marginal decision is whether to take the fifth step. Then in this case, the fifth step is your margin, edge. Okay, edge of thought or edge of thinking or edge of decision making. That's a margin. So I'll come back to this because this is the single most important thing, I guess, of all the 10 principles. I'll come back to this. So as for now, one more time, your decision is step by step. Okay, first step, you compare benefit from it. Benefit is all good things. Cost is all bad thing. Or using the terms I used explaining in the first principle, gain is benefit. All gain we call benefit. All gains we call benefit. All pains we call cost. One more time. All good things, generic name is benefit. All bad things, generic name is cost. And step by step decision means, can you take second step without taking the first step? No, you cannot do that. So first step, always you have to start from the first step. Whether to take the first step is you are at the margin of the first step. Okay, if the marginal benefit from the first step is bigger than marginal cost for it, for the first step, do you take it? Of course you take it. Then you move on the second step, right? Only after first step you can move on the second step. Now, second step is your margin of decision. From the second step, marginal benefit is bigger than marginal cost. You take it. Okay, now you move on the third step. Third step is your margin of decision. And marginal benefit from the third step is bigger than marginal cost for the third step. You take it. So you move on, keep going like this. So okay, in general, you take it if marginal benefit is marginal cost. Now you keep doing that until this point. Marginal benefit equals to marginal cost. You stop there. For example, you have taken 9 steps. Then you are thinking of whether to take the 10th step. The marginal benefit is smaller than marginal cost of the 10th step. You don't take it. That's very, very rational thinking and makes sense to all of you. Then, interestingly enough, we have 2 laws applying to marginal benefit and marginal cost. Number 1, the law of increasing marginal cost. Marginal cost, okay, as you go forward, marginal cost keeps increasing while marginal cost keeps decreasing. Okay, it's another critical understanding. Anyway, we will come back to this one more time later. Okay, number 4, people respond to incentives. And to tell the conclusion is that in general, in managing people, moral preachment is not enough. For example, do you or do you not have to study hard? Of course, you have to study hard, right? That's what you have to do. That's what the school wants to manage you to do, or your parents wants you to do. Okay? Then, no incentive. For example, if I'm going to give all A+ to you, would you study hard? Would you study hard? You wouldn't study hard. Okay? So, the incentive is discrimination. Okay? I give A+ only to only those of you who study very hard. That's an incentive, right? If you don't study hard, incentive is C, 0, or even F. That's the incentive, right? One more time, if I don't give any incentive, or strange enough but true, if I do not discriminate you in terms of reward is incentive. Okay, incentive is normally classifies into two categories. One is rewards, and the other one is punishment. 상 rewards, 벌 punishment. So this one, in general, incentives in the form of either a reward or a punishment. So without rewards, people wouldn't do the thing you have in mind. Another example is that the reason why socialism has greatly failed all through the human history is that there was no incentive for the workers. If I give the same outcome to each and every worker in this room, probably none of you would work very hard. So productivity is extremely low if the reward or incentive is going to be the same to everybody. So we understand that, or this makes great sense to you on the basis of your own experience. People respond to incentives. No incentive, people wouldn't work. Okay? Incentive, people would work. Simply. The very simple principle. Okay, so far was about individual decision-making principles. Now, after making individual decisions, people go to the marketplace, because economy in modern days, economy is all about exchange economy or trade economy. So we rule out autarky, 자급자족. So in economics or in economic theories, it's all about, not all about, mostly about trade in the marketplace. So principles in the marketplace is another important key to the economic principles. Okay, Mankiy's principle number 5, trade can make everyone better off. So we'll discuss in greater detail in chapter 3. We'll discuss anyway the chapter 3 in the coming Wednesday, the day after tomorrow. Detailed discussions we reserve for the day after tomorrow. But as for now, we talk about market economy. Market economy starts from a voluntary exchange. You make a trade from your free will. Nobody forces you to do a thing, to make a trade. So think about that. Okay. Two of you, Kyunghwa and Yerin, have made a trade. What does it mean to each of them? Kyunghwa, okay, would you make the trade with Yerin if the trade is a losing proposition to you? Probably not. Yerin, would you make the trade with Kyunghwa if the trade is a losing proposition to you? Probably not. So from this you can understand that the very fact that a trade has taken place means it was mutually beneficial. Do you understand that? Yes, of course. So from this one, in the first place, okay, if a trade is not mutually beneficial, it wouldn't take place. Is that clear to you? Now let's move on. Principle number 6. Okay. Markets are usually a good way to organize economic activity. Okay. So the efficiency of market efficiency, sometimes you call it in this way. So leave the market alone, automatically it will come to the most efficient allocation of resources, which we call economy. Okay. So putting it differently, market will return to, not always, but tends to return to economy, not always. So market economy is, resource is allocated by whom? The government? No. By you? No. Okay. It's by whom? The clue is it's not visible. So we call it invisible hand. So flip side of that, okay, leave the market alone, we will see the most efficient allocation. Then what if the market is interrupted or interfered by the government? The flip side of that is government intervention means distortion, right? Distortion of what? Distortion in resource allocation. So always, here again, not always, but almost always, government intervention in one form or another in the marketplace, in general, it results in inefficiency. So I want you to be familiarize yourself with this particular quotation from Adam Smith. Probably this is the most popular quotation from Adam Smith's book, The Wealth of Nations, to tell it to you. Okay, let me try to memorize his expression. Okay, it is not because of benevolence, but because of self-interest of the butchers, the bakers, and the brewers that you can enjoy your breakfast. No, not breakfast, dinner. So remember, Adam Smith was a British man. So according to their lifestyle, in dinner table they enjoy bread and then cut some type of meat. Okay, and then normally they drink beer. So this time, one more time, it is not benevolence, but self-interest of the butcher for meat, the baker for the bread, and the brewer for the beer, that you can enjoy your dinner. Okay? That's not because of they are benevolent, they are concerned about your well-being, but because of they are concerned about they are concerned about their own self-interest. You can enjoy your dinner. Make sense to you? Of course. Okay, so this is the very reason why these days I explained two things, right? I actually compared socialist economy and this is market economy. Market economy works, but socialism didn't work because people simply, without incentives, people don't work. That's principle number 4. Yeah, number 4 up there. This is the message to the socialism. This is message from market economy. Understandable, yes? Then government can sometimes improve market outcome. I say, or Mankiw says, market is efficient, but not always. Or putting it differently, market is not perfect. Just like no one is perfect. Is your mom perfect, do you think? Probably not. If your mom is not perfect, nobody would be perfect either. Then likewise, nothing is perfect. So in general, market is efficient, but not always. From time to time, market fails to be efficient. In that case, government should step in. This is the case. The market from time to time fails to make efficient resource allocation. We call market failures. There are many cases like that. We'll discuss these market failures in great detail sometime in the future before the midterm exam. Anyway, as for now, two big categories, only externalities, 외부성과 외부 효과, and then imperfect competition, like monopoly, oligopoly. Okay, and this is the case of government intervention to make up for market failures. We need government more than that. First of all, government is the party which makes rules of the game and keep the system in the rule of law. Then this is another role of the government, social stability. Market economy, market is all about competition, but there are some people who need help, or some people who are not ready to participate in the market competition. In that case, government has to offer helping hands to people in need. Okay. In this case, this is government job. Why does the government need to do this? People in need. If the government doesn't take care of them, the society will be unstable, and then in an unstable society, we cannot expect a healthy market economy. So because of that, to sum them up, the government has to play at least 3 key roles. Number 1, this one, rules of the game. 경기 규칙, rule of law, 법치. That's number 1, most important thing. And secondly, market failures. Government has to correct market failures. Number 3, government has to take care of people in need. And then additionally, he lists 3 things which are related to macroeconomy, 8, 9, 10. And to my eyes, it doesn't look like a principle, but more like advanced theories. Then anyway, these 3 are related to macroeconomics, which is the second half of this course. Then I will explain this in the second half after the midterm exam. So that means we skip this as for today. Then thinking at the margin one more time, I explained 7 principles, but of the 7 principles, I think this is the single most critical understanding. Okay, then it's relatively easy to understand. Just follow me. Now, assume you are at a dinner table or by the dinner table. Then you have a dish of prepared sushi. Prepared sushi means it has been prepared already. And all preparation costs are sunk. So and then you cannot eat sushi the following day. So only choice is there how many sushi's to eat. That's the only decision for you to make at the dinner table. So assume there are enough number of sausages, like 20 pieces of sausage or 30 pieces of sausage. It depends on the situation. Then your decision is here again, step by step. Okay, can you eat fifth sushi without eating fourth sushi? You cannot do that. So eating sushi is always step by step. So this is a graph to help you make the decision. Once again, eating sushi is piece by piece. Okay. You are from the library, you are hungry. Okay. So you have to start the very first sushi. Here is the very first sushi. Okay. So sushi, think about that. Marginal benefit. Here, marginal means the unit under consideration right now. So now your consideration is about the very first sushi. So how big is benefit from the very first sushi? Probably that's very big, somewhere around here. Okay? So you are thinking of whether to take the first sushi or not. So marginal benefit. Okay? Marginal benefit is benefit from the unit under consideration right now. It's probably very big, this much high. Okay? Then what benefit do you get from eating such? Probably satisfying your hunger, right? Probably, or to energize yourself. That type of thing. That's a benefit. Then, do you have what cost do you have to pay to eat the very first sushi? Don't think of the preparation cost, because preparation cost is not incremental. It has been paid already, sunk cost. About the concept of sunk cost will come back sometime in the future, maybe immediately before the midterm exam. We'll come back to the concept of sunk cost. Sunk cost, you have paid the cost already. Yeah, you are past, so it shouldn't affect your decision making right now. So forgetting about the preparation cost, then what other costs do you have to pay? Your concerns about gaining weight or mouth smell, things like that. And probably, if anything, very small. So now your marginal benefit is this big. Okay? Then your marginal cost is this small. Would you take it the first step? Absolutely, yes. So one down, the first decision has been made, and then you go forward, and then your decision is now you are at the second piece of sushi. That's your margin of decision. Then, as we understand, you can have some benefit from the second unit. How big is it? Probably smaller than the first one, something like this, a smaller one. Then what about the cost from the second unit? Here, okay, let me clarify one thing. Benefit from the one unit under consideration right now we call marginal benefit. Okay. Likewise, the cost for the second unit, the very unit under consideration right now we call marginal cost. So as for the first unit, this was marginal cost, and then this was marginal benefit, this was marginal cost. Then no question about marginal benefit was bigger than marginal cost. What of the second unit? This much, maybe this much. Marginal benefit from the second unit probably is smaller than marginal benefit from the first unit. So it's decreasing. This is marginal benefit from the second unit. Okay. The other way around, marginal cost keeps increasing. Think about that. You are concerned about gaining weight from the second unit, probably is bigger than you are concerned about from the first unit. So on the one hand, marginal benefit decreases like this one, but marginal cost increase like this. So understandable. So now everything else is straightforward. So as you keep eating, so you eat first 30, second 30, and third, fourth, fifth, seventh, sixth, seventh, and then now right here, eighth unit. Here, eighth unit again, this is bigger. Marginal benefit is bigger than marginal cost, right? You take it. Now, at the ninth unit, they're the same. Probably you'll take it. Actually, it's neutral whether to take it or not, doesn't make any difference, but normally we say you take it. Then what about this one? 10th unit. Now, all of a sudden, marginal cost becomes bigger than marginal benefit here on, right? So you wouldn't take any more than ninth unit, or in total 9 units. So this is your decision. One more time, you keep eating sushi until marginal benefit equals to marginal cost. And you stop there. No more, no less. This is your decision. So, in conclusion, you eat 9 and only 9 pieces of sushi. No more, no less. That's rational decision from thinking at the margin. One more time. You keep comparing marginal benefit to marginal cost as you go forward, step by step. Then your decision is about how many pieces of sushi to eat. How many? 9. Exactly 9, no more, no less. That's your decision making. And from this diagram, we can have many pieces of information. Number one, you understood that, right? Let's start from the beginning. So we understood that in general, marginal benefit tends to decline, while marginal cost tends to increase. Not always, but in general, I say. Here, marginal benefit satisfying your hunger, and marginal cost is all concerns. So that's a generic term or a comprehensive term. All good things we call benefit, all bad things we call cost. So anyway, don't forget, marginal cost means per unit cost. Marginal benefit per unit benefit, marginal cost per unit cost. So marginal benefit keeps decreasing, marginal cost keeps increasing. Okay, that's easy one. So tier 1. And a slightly complicated but still understandable thing is that, remember, this was benefit from the first unit, and this was benefit from second unit, and this was likewise. Then the area below, we eat only 9 pieces, right? Altogether 9 pieces. So what would we call the area below this marginal benefit? Curve. You are right. Okay, we call that total benefit. One more time. The area below marginal benefit stands for total benefit to that point. From the total of 9 pieces of sushi, there's total benefit. One more time. The area below marginal benefit stands for total benefit. Likewise, the area below marginal cost represent total cost up there. Then think about that. This area, we stop eating 9th sushi here. So this area stands for total benefit up to 9th sushi, and then this area stands for total cost. Then The area in between or shaded area represent net benefit. Here we go. Net benefit is total benefit subtracted by total cost. And then the beauty of this decision making at the margin is by doing this or from thinking at the margin, we can maximize the net benefit here. You can easily figure that. Any other point, if we stop here, so your net benefit would be this much, and then this would be empty. Okay, this is inferior to eating 9 pieces. Then what if we eat more than this? Remember, this is negative territory. 9th, 10th, sushi. Then this is cost. Cost outweighs benefit. So we wouldn't do that. From this, we can understand that from decision making at the margin, we can maximize net benefit. Net benefit is defined by total benefit subtracted by total cost. And this message keeps coming to us all through this course. So to sum them up, this is one more time, this is the single most critical understanding as far as especially the microeconomics is concerned. Macroeconomics is a slightly different story, but as far as microeconomics, by the way, we mean 미시경제학, 미시경제 is concerned. Probably this is the single most critical understanding because this message will keep coming to us, okay, time and again. To sum them up one more time, okay. Marginal benefit per unit benefit, it tends to decrease. This one, marginal cost tends to increase. And our decision making is that we keep doing a thing here, eating sushi. We keep eating sushi until marginal benefit is bigger than marginal cost, and then we stop at exactly at 9th sushi where marginal benefit equals to marginal cost. By doing that, you can maximize net benefit. Then this is everyone's, to maximize net benefit is everyone's goal or objective. Because if we don't have to pay cost, our objective may be maximize total benefit. But the world doesn't work like that. So remember Mankiy's principle number 1, no pain, no gain. So any good thing, any benefit, you have to pay some cost. So your calculation should be about, your focus should be on maximizing net benefit instead of total benefit. Then how could we achieve that goal? By thinking at the margin, or putting it differently, by keep doing a thing until marginal benefit equals marginal cost. We can maximize our net benefit, which is our goal. So rational people think at the margin. Mankiy's principle number 4. Okay, this is it for today. Oh, well, additionally, one more thing. Here is this one. First thought, you understood in the world, in the practical world, in your real world, or in your from everyday life, you can understand that marginal benefit tends to decrease. Benefit decreases while cost increases. Is it a good thing or bad thing to us? From first thought, you may think this is bad thing, but this is good thing to human being. Think about that. If marginal benefit doesn't decrease, it's keep increasing like this, right? Then what will happen to Kyunghwa? Okay. She will keep eating, okay, until she exhausts all the sushi available in the world. Would it be a good thing? No, that's a bad thing. So just because marginal cost keeps increasing, marginal benefit keeps decreasing, there's equilibrium point, equilibrium. So everybody will stop there doing that. So that's what we call equilibrium. And equilibrium is very stable. We'll come back to this sometime in the future one more time. But anyway, as for now, simply because one is going down, the other is going up, we have a meeting point right here. Meeting point is equilibrium. So people will stop. Whatever people do, they will stop doing it somewhere along the way. So largely thanks to these great laws, we can expect prudence, modesty, and moderation of people's behavior. Okay, any questions? If not, this is it for today. I will see you on Wednesday.